Hello, church. It's so good to be with you. I hope that you had a great New Year's celebration. I hope you're enjoying all the college football playoffs and all the good things that are happening this time of year. And I hope that you are planning to start your Mondays with us on our Take 5. And so we're going to be back in Proverbs now for a period of time as we stepped out for a couple of weeks to make some seasonal Take 5s. So we're in Proverbs chapter 4, so pause now and either go and read all of 4 or plan to catch up with it later. We are in Proverbs 4 today in a section that I would call Guard Your Heart. And so it's right towards the end of chapter 4. I love this part of this. There are so many nuggets in all these Proverbs, so it's hard for me to pull out what I think is best for us. But go to verse 23 of chapter 4 of Proverbs. It says this: above all else, meaning more than anything else, more than anything you could imagine, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Right? So that's just great advice for us right away, is to understand that your heart is the wellspring of your emotions, of your attitudes, and it betrays you all the time, because eventually what's in your heart, when it gets squeezed, when pressure comes, all that comes out of us. And so the author of Proverbs tells us right away, guard your heart. Be careful what goes in it. Be careful what you put in it. And then verse 24 is great advice. It says, keep your mouth free of perversity. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. So when he talks about corrupt talk here, he's talking about gossip. And now listen, all of us are involved in gossip at some level, at some time, in some way, right? And so what he's trying to say is guard your heart. Now he's talking about what James talks about in his book, which is guard your mouth. Guard your mouth. So you remember that James talks about how your mouth and your tongue can be just the sharpest weapon, can be a flame amongst all kinds of things and do as much damage as we can imagine. And I can remember in college that working with sports teams, foul language just seemed to be part of the culture. And it was something that I never quite embraced. But I can remember finally having a coach that was a Christian coach who just said to players and said to all of us, he says, why is your language so foul? It's a reflection of your ignorance. You're not smart enough to come up with a better word, that you have to use a foul word all the time. And we live in a culture now where literally our mouth is full of perversity, right? As it relates to so many things. Then in verse 25, it says this: let your eyes look straight ahead, fix your gaze directly before you. And so when I read that text, what I'm thinking about is the passage out of Hebrews that says, fix your eyes on Jesus, right? So again, remember last week what I said was what? Is that to keep your hand on the plow and not look back is the advice of Jesus. And so here we have the author of Proverbs, hundreds of years earlier, wrote a similar phrase that says, let your eyes look straight ahead, fix your gaze directly before you, because what's in front of you is what you should be focusing on. And then he says, give careful thought, in verse 26, to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. And so let me speak to this a second. So it's been a little over a year. I ungracefully tripped in my own dining room over a rug. Like I just caught my foot on a rug, and it threw me to the ground so fast. And so what I do now, man, I now think I'm a fall risk everywhere, right? Not because I'm clumsy, not because I'm not coordinated, but when I walk in the mornings, man, my eyes are on the ground. Dee Dee walks with me. She goes, oh, look at that bird, or, oh, aren't those clouds pretty? And I'm like, baby, no, I am watching the ground because I remember the consequences of falling. And so what the author of Proverbs is trying to tell us here is, he says, give careful thought to your past. Be careful where you walk. Be careful where you go, because the world and your enemy sets traps for you. And so you've got to be aware of that. And then in verse 27, it says this: do not turn to the left, to the right, or to the left. Keep your foot from evil. And so what generally happens in life as we're making our journey through is the shiny things, it's the distractions, it's the idols that are not directly in front of us as God's guiding us, but are on the left and the right. So the author is trying to say, listen, be dialed in. Be dialed in. Don't focus to the left or the right, but just focus on what's in front of you. So again, I love this section of Proverbs because it talks about guarding your heart, guarding your mouth, guarding your steps, right? So be on your guard as you start this new year. And I pray that it's going to be an amazing year. I can tell you this, it's going to be an amazing year at Georgianna because we have an amazing church full of amazing people who are devoted and surrendered to Jesus Christ. I love you, church, and I'll see you next week.